Hello, and welcome to the Akash and Friends podcast. Today we have a special guest that I wanted to get.
What is Akash and Friends?
Akash Mehta and Friends.
Listen, I'm just getting over this Hello Friends debacle. So don't say Akash and Friends for this episode. Can you say Akash and the other guy? Just so no, otherwise they'll drop things and look at it again and I'll have to answer questions. The shame, the scandal, the hurt, the pain, the anguish.
Isn't that bad?
No. And now here, the really shameful part is somebody sent it to me about 3-4 weeks back online. I saw the whole episode of Hello Friends. And I didn't mind it that much. I really thought it was much worse while shooting it. It was okay.
But you walked away after like some episodes, right?
But that was more because of date issues with MTV and all that. Yeah, but the guy kept wanting to shoot 7-8. TV in 90s, they would take you for a block of many days.
Yeah.
And I already had a full-time job.
Yeah.
And unlike most of the other VJs, I don't take their names, they made me work. So I did all the events, I went to every place, I met all the cable operators, plus I shot lots of things.
Yeah.
And I was also reserve shooter. So if Maria's stomach was paining, brocha, tu aaja na, 2 minutes mein. Come. So I was close to office also, which I did all the time.
Where did you stay then?
I stayed at Malabar Hill. I still stay there with my parents. I live off them. And office was in Tardeo, which is, as you know, as a South Bombay boy, 7-8 minute drive.
Yeah.
In those days, in my Maruti Gaddi, and I could park anywhere. This was 96, 97, 90 or 99 when we did this show, Hello Friends. But I miss those days. Yeah. There was no tension. It was like lockdown.
I feel like the missing starts when you say there was parking.
I love parking is very symbolic. People think it's a stupid point, but for a self-driving person, as you know more than me now, it is a huge pain in the ass.
I parked right under your lane anywhere.
That's
randomly.
because of lockdown.
Yeah.
You've gotten away. You know this area.
Lane is not
You can't park. You can't even think of parking.
Yeah.
It's like a wet dream if parking happens. You
I
come. People have orgasms. Maligayo, I'm coming. It's like that. You get phone calls.
Today was the first time I've asked someone if there's parking available at a place in so many months.
Yeah.
It felt nice also.
Yeah. But I always ask that question. In fact, when they ask me to do a show or something, I always ask that question before they say how much will you charge or all that. The first question is there parking. I always ask them that. For me, it's really important.
You have to get your own driver types.
No, now with the lockdown, there's no driver.
Oh, no,
We've asked him to proceed with another career. He's there, bleeding us for nothing.
Oh, but that's bound to happen.
Yeah,
Right?
what to do?
So many.
I wrote to the PMO. What do I do? How long will this go on? How many employees do I have to pay while no money is coming in?
There's one in this room which might have to
That's one I've been dodging. The others, he's not really the pain in the ass. Others are costing more. Yeah.
I have tried to find a way where I had this idea that I'm going to go into this lockdown with X amount of money that I had made over the season. Because season
Correct.
Patitu, right? Like all the live shows ka paisa came together from
Oh,
yeah, and then I had all the money come together, and I was very happy because
this was before March.
just like
Cut to cut.
Yeah, cut to cut. Like I remember 2 days before, like Thursday they announced it. Now for Sunday the first lockdown. So
Tuesday they announced it.
yeah, or something like that. So the next day after the announcement, when we had gap, I called them and I said, look, we both know this is gonna lead to a month-long thing at least.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna pay me, and I'm gonna have to fire people, and they're gonna be homeless and this and that, and then finally they sent it. So my logic was, I'll get out of this with that much money at least.
So that much money would keep you for how many months?
That would have kept us for the whole lockdown. But
The whole lockdown is not over.
No, as in, yeah, I mean, but we would have easily managed to make it till August on that money. Now, the idea was
It is August.
the idea was to not touch that
I
money.
don't like Gujarati men who can't count because I didn't suspect something is foul.
No, but that's the thing. Like I saved it and I kept it, and we made more money than that. In
Through
the-
Zoom.
We came out through profit. Yeah, with Zoom and with all the 500 other things that I do.
You have an ad running at the
We
moment.
have an ad running.
Well, everybody is struggling to cope. How do you get this? What's happening?
WhatsApp based auditions.
Is it true you're close to the Home Minister?
Yes.
WhatsApp based audition, and but you shot it in a car somewhere in the north.
In Gurgaon we went.
So you went to Gurgaon.
You know, I realized in retrospect that the only reason we went to Gurgaon is because the union labor in Mumbai.
So why didn't they use a Delhi kid? I don't get that. Huh?
That's not gonna happen.
Who shot the ad?
There's some production house.
No, from Bombay or Delhi?
No, from Delhi.
But yet they outsourced you from
The
Bombay.
agency was Bombay, the production
Now
was
I'll tell you
Bombay.
what the story is here. That's because a lot of 18-year-olds in Gurgaon have fake age license things. The IDs are fake. They don't
think
get caught in
that's
that. Yeah, that's a huge
But I'm
difference.
27.
Huh?
I don't think they were looking at an 18-year-old.
These are small technicalities. Don't you spoil my story with your ending. You're like a that old man who comes in a pawn.
Did you?
I've seen those 80s, 90s pawns had these old men also. They would just fit in them in. It's like, the guy has to get some work.
didn't
So
watch
people are at it, the younger generation, and then the old man waltzes in and gets his punch paisa worth towards the end.
There's this,
Now I'm that old man.
there's this whole story in the comedy scene. If you ever meet a comedian, ask them the May I Join story. If they know, then they are OG. The May I Join story, which will not go into this podcast. But
So everything we say doesn't go on the podcast. Where does it go? Is
No,
it a separate NGO that you're keeping?
You know, this
Where
is
all our stuff is.
Did you know this is a user-funded podcast?
What the hell does that even mean?
Matlab, the listener-funded podcast.
I just about know what a podcast is. It's taken me about 5 years.
All the people who listen to it, like
Ah.
all the people, but a significant portion of them, they contribute monetarily to keep the podcast running.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like a crowdfunding thing.
Yeah, like patrons. We have
So
patrons.
they prepay, but
No, they pay for-
you're that popular. They pay
So-
before you do your
No, we
podcast.
did it for about 4 months before we started the program.
Ah.
And now
Who's
there are
we?
about- We is my team, man. There's so many people that work on this. There's editors, there's
Oh,
people
okay,
who shoot
that way.
it, there's a producer.
But nobody comes here now thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Pehle also it was like this only.
Okay.
When we used to shoot, the camera guys and all would start the cameras and all and leave the room.
Wow.
Because it has to be that intimacy thing.
Yeah, it's like a love-making scene. Again, here we go. Limited crew. We've got our friend, half Bengali, half Kachi. The dream of India. That's the mind we want.
Did you want to go to study abroad? Like when you went, like was it like a
So I, not to sound charitable or generous of spirit, but I heard my dad struggling with paying for my sister abroad and all that, and the stuff that, you know, in the old days,
Right.
small colleges in America cost a lot. And it doesn't end, the cost. Indians don't realize sometimes they get caught in the whirlpool. I'm advising young fathers and mothers out there, just be careful, because it's not just college fee, there's all kinds of extras that go with that. Anyway. So I thought, you know, why do this? I'm not that keen anyway, put him under more burden and all that. So I was quite happy to stay in Xavier's. Once I got into Xavier's, my life just changed completely because I hated school last 2-3 years. Too much studying and, you know, cliques, and I hate the tie, I hate authority, I hate too many things.
What school
I'm
were you
a passive fascist, no? I just hate everything.
you're a passive fascist?
Yeah, like I hate fascism because I'm one myself, you know, so it's like that. So I was in this very school for poor children called Cathedral in John Connon School in South Bombay. Yeah, I keep telling everyone we had only one driver, so we were like middle class.
Yeah.
And, you know, looked down upon. But I had good moments. It's not like the school was that bad all the time, but in 9th, 10th, it became all about the ICIC board and competitive thing. And, you know, I don't know, you also had your 10th at some point. Now, you know
I
what
was
that-
in SSC.
but
Very
it's
different
somewhat the
states.
same, no? The
Yeah.
studying crap that we go through
Yeah.
and the way our parents and people around are. So college was a breath of fresh air when I got out of school, I must say.
Yeah.
So
This is
because
after 11th standard, right?
Uh,
Maybe it was
after-
11 plus 4 or was it 12 plus 4?
10 plus 5. Ask dad. Dad will tell you. My people 10 plus 5. You finish 10 and then you do 5 years in arts for your BA or commerce. The commerce you do if you have a business background, or you go to do an MBA later or something like that.
Yeah.
So basically arts was when you couldn't get anywhere else in the 90s. Now you need 98% to get into Xavier's.
For arts.
It's ridiculous. The top, St. Stephen's and all these big colleges, yeah, for arts. It's ridiculous.
So it makes sense, right?
What makes sense?
I mean, okay.
Lady Shriram couldn't get a single person from outside Delhi. Almost everyone is from Delhi because their cutoff was 97.4.
It's a supply-demand situation.
What's supply demand?
Of course.
How
if
can
there
you
are enough
expect?
good colleges everywhere, then you don't have to go to Delhi.
You're a comedian now. This is just pure comedy in schools or colleges.
Arre.
You know, because how can you have a 97, 98% cutoff?
Because everybody who's the best at that thing is gonna go for that thing, right? Like you want
It's
there to be
too much stress on Marx, bro. You know, it's okay if you're talking about the Marx brothers, and I accept that. But other than that, I can't.
But that's the thing, right? You don't have to, like, the college doesn't matter as much. Like you would have realized in retrospect, right? Like to an extent.
My life has been an accident. Everyone can't go through accidents all their life.
But we do.
Why should a kid who gets 93% and has been very good and very zealous and probably very talented and scholastic, why should he not have a college to go to?
That's not the point.
That
a
is what
college to
happens.
Go to. It's just a college you can't pick yourself. That's the difference.
I've gone to Lady Shriram. Really hot looking
College.
college. Stone structure, huge space. I mean, it's a lovely place, but if it 97% is a cutoff, then who the hell gets in and who the hell doesn't get in?
To give you some
What?
idea of my own 12th standard, okay, I was so super depressed.
You're
Okay,
27 now, so you're talking about 10, 11, 12 years, so about 10 years ago.
But similar situation. Where,
But little better, no? Not 97 cutoff, no?
No, but like 90 plus cut off in most of the colleges where I wanted to go. The only reason I got into college is because I played the drums. Right, I got in through cultural quota throughout.
I've never heard of this. You play the drums, they take you into college.
Yeah, it's called cultural quota.
What is it, like a Sangeet
Sing.
going on? Special Sangeet classes. Bring Dol wala, aja, dun, dun. What the fuck? It's not like playing the violin, you're playing the drums.
But that's the-
It's the percussion.
But the beauty
It's
is
the most primal of all instruments.
But
It's
it's
like a
about-
man banging his head on a fucking table. What kind of respect? So they actually took you on the drums. I'm amazed at that.
Yeah.
So now you don't.
Twice,
Everything is
huh?
online, so you can't even do all this.
No, you can
They don't
apply
ask for
culture.
it. I've been talking to mothers and fathers. I wanted to actually do unfortunately all this happened. I was trying to do a thing about entrance
Entrance
shoot
exams.
something, I did a little research on it.
Yeah.
No, on how to get, how the pressure has it changed from the 90s, 2000s to now.
The pressure has
Parents,
changed.
like my mother would stand in line in 3 colleges while I stood in 1 college.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys did it. You're the next generation. But
Yeah.
this generation, which is almost like 2 after me, I mean, if the parents are still standing in line, but thank God there's online options.
Yeah.
But with the online options, the extracurricular went out of the window.
No, but
So
they do
I'm
have
told,
it.
no, to get into Xavier's, you can't mention, for example, my dad was ex-Xavierite. Okay, we have minority thing and all that, so you get something for that. All that goes out of the window. They don't take that down anymore. It's just your marks and your name, and that's it.
But they're
You
trying
can't
to make it
mention.
more,
Okay, but then there's nothing going for you. Then everybody's like a factory worker. See,
Yeah,
there's no difference
yeah.
between any of us. The drummer, who's a comedian and may shine later on in life,
Yeah.
but got 86%.
Yeah.
You know, and then he loses out to 87%, who was the
Yeah.
most boring human being you've ever seen in your life, no disrespect, and went on to, a normal corporate
Yeah,
job,
yeah.
and you never heard of him again. But we killed Akash. Akash's talent. But then he became a desperately depressed man, turned to drugs, God knows what, played drums outside that, that Eatery Tawa restaurant, they give you a little baja and they let you play outside, because they allow food at the moment.
But
Tawa
coming-
restaurant Bandra allows, you can sit outside. in the
So did
outside
you not
space.
go
By law.
abroad to study finally?
I went to study
No.
acting, but that's another story years later.
Okay.
I finished here, I did 1 year in law college. Baju, yeah, Pachal.
Kahan?
Government law college, where all the
GLC
greats,
में.
all the greats go there.
Love
All the
it.
greats.
Except for me.
Except for you. You are
I went to Praveen Gandhi.
Praveen Gandhi. But I followed the steps of my dad and my grandfather and all that. Went there. Me and Samir Saraya, we used to go on his bike, I remember. He lives, my classmate, etc. We used to go down the Chili Road,
Yeah.
Walkeshwar, with the neutral. You might could take a bike everywhere, no problem, nothing. And it was 5:30 in the morning at that time.
Yeah.
We carried 2 old newspapers, go at the back of the thing and go to sleep. Right? Because it went upwards, the class.
Yeah.
So we went to the right back bencher, like
Yeah.
MS Dhoni calls
Yeah.
it.
So,
Back benches.
Did you ever do that shit where you take the kach ka goti and just throw it down and wait for it to tuck, 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 tuck all the
I
way
don't know if we
down?
did that, but when we were awake, we were quite rowdy. Because you have to kill time, man. What do you do?
Yeah, law school can be very,
Yeah,
very,
true.
very absorptive.
Accents. We had 6 different professors, one Sindhi, one Parsi, one Maharashtrian, one Gujarati, all hardcore accents of their community. And I could not remember words, but I remember all their accents.
Yeah, because it's like wherever you have to go practice, na, you should have somebody from there.
Yeah. So it works in comedy. You can do a little bit of that. I can't remember the mood chords. It was fun actually, those mood
I did
chords.
only one mood court.
What are you saying, boss?
The bare minimum that you had to do to become a LLB graduate, I did only
But
one.
you're a full LLB graduate.
Yeah, I
You
finished.
wasted your life.
Little
I only wasted 1 year.
bit.
Then I got into this NTV
My
crap.
dad still thinks I'll go back to practicing law.
So did my dad. That's what they told me. When I started working in MTV, they said, just finish that degree. Middle class Indians, no? How they think. They really thought
But-
that someone will hire a guy who's dressed as a VJ and talking rubbish on television to defend him in a murder case or a divorce case or MNC worth 25,000 crores is going to say, Brocha ko bulao. He'll save us. Unbelievable. Yeah.
There was a so then Xavier's happened and then you started MTV around then and you were RJing also.
No. After MTV. After Xavier. Sorry, Carvin.
So
RJing
post
happened
Xavier's.
earlier, yeah, 93.
Yeah.
So I used to do plays from 1985, English plays which...
Oh yes, you were a child prodigy.
in a world of 27 people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, like you had.
So it's like you're the best whistler in a class of 27, like that. Something, it's at that level. So don't
No,
take
I
it-
think it's way better than that. Come on.
It's a very small market, boss.
But it's a competitive market nevertheless.
My first
right?
audition that I went for at the age of 14, all the other guys were 18.
Right.
So I had won the audition already because they wanted a young, innocent-looking boy. This is Neil Simon's memoirs, the writer, and it's called Brighton Beach Memoir. And it's an
Yeah.
innocent adolescent boy who's masturbating and all. These 18-year-olds with their scraggy beards and little big bodies and all that, they didn't look the part at all. I looked slightly chubby, fat face. I looked like a loser and I looked innocent. I know Pearl telling me later and all, you're an evil boy, but you're very innocent looking, which is important. And I've used that for a long time. Fool the ladies, Akash. For many years I fooled them all.
Did you ever think that theatre would be a career? Was it a viability? Like, cause I know that Parsis somehow managed to make theatre a career. I don't think it's a career for anyone, the rest of us.
That's true. There were quite a few. The whole Adiyam Azman sort of legacy is there, and there's Gujarati Natak. So I don't want to disrespect Gujarati. Parsis have done more in a sense to bring up the barometer than anybody else.
Absolutely.
Of course, now it's completely taken over. And then coming back to so there was all those role models were there, but English theatre was limited with limited audiences and all. But what do we know? Whatever you do, you're born into, you do it. It's like that. But I think I had a bit of ADD. I can't sit still and all that. My parents realized that, and I used to do a lot of stuff in the school, just like any other people.
Are you part of student council and all?
No, not I just want to get out of class. So they said, you want to audition for the role? I put my hand up. You want to sing? I put my hand up. You want to do elocution? Put my hand up. Debate? Put my hand up. I even took French for one day. Yeah, and then I came back because I couldn't cope. I thought French would be easy, but it was a class where you couldn't understand anything.
Yeah.
I mean, go back to Hindi quietly.
Yeah, I studied French for 5 years in school.
Wow.
8th, 9th, 10th.
Parlez-vous
first year,
français?
second year. Huh?
Huh.
Exactly. I can probably read French. मैं
can?
mon français est très libre.
Not too bad.
But that's all I know to say, na.
That's good. I mean, then they excuse you and then they break into a common language.
That's the beauty of it. Every language, I think people try to learn Gali. The only thing you really need to learn is how to say I speak this terribly. Once I was in a cab going to Pune and this taxi guy got stuck in an underpass. Okay.
Right.
And a rickshaw wala was drunk, came out, got violent with my taxi wala, broke the windshield of the car, started pulling the guy out of the window.
This is a happy story.
This is the happy story. Now I get out of the car at this point, I don't know what to do. We are in some town near Pune. I get out and I say, oh ho, काय करतात आम्ही हिंदू माणसावर हात उठवायचा नाही ऐसा गंदा
But
मराठी.
the drawl is nice for rural Maharashtra. But yeah, as the language fails you, then yeah.
I had to break down my Marathi a little bit. My Marathi isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Like I can do a proper आमच्या गावात आता मारायची गरज नाही.
Very nice.
So I can do that. But I wanted to try this, right? So like this guy speaking in bad Marathi united all of them against me. They all laughed. And they said, हिंदी में बात करो, नहीं आता है तुमको.
तुझी आईची कान. You didn't go to.
But
The moral of the story is if you speak but attempt to a language which is
That's
not
usually
your
enough.
mother tongue, it endears people to you.
yeah,
I think so.
except in France.
Oh, I think if you look like us and you're trying to talk in French, I think they like it. Whenever I was in Paris, my wife, having done a course, could speak a little French. So we were always, but obviously we were struggling, especially with menus and roads and all that. I could tinchy pinchy, I would say everything literally. But we tried, and they were always nice to us. I can't remember anyone saying like, "Oh, you better speak in parlez-vous français" or whatever French is, motherfucker, bastard, fuck you. That didn't happen, as far as I remember. What happened is the North African taxi drivers all thought we were from their area and would start abusing all the ethnic French. So I could see the race issues were not good. This is pre-Zidane. In fact, it was Zidane's year. That was the year where Zidane really broke through in the World Cup, if I remember correctly.
When he headbutted someone.
Well, before that,
okay.
where, you think that these guys are the role models that bring people together because sports elevates ultimately.
Yeah.
And everybody loves Zidane. I don't know anyone who doesn't like Zidane, but it's still there. And then of course they have their own issues.
But it's so interesting to me that so many football players from all around the world playing for different national teams all started in France now.
Yeah.
Because you can play for your parents' original country.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it's endless. That way, I think I'm quite fond of sports. Like I love sport, but I can't watch other sport but cricket. I don't know if that makes sense.
Cricket is cricket. You can't compare other sport to cricket.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that because let's face it, other sports suck. But having said that, if there's no cricket, I do watch other sports because I love sport.
Right.
I can't deny that. And and the whole line at CLR James's famous line, which is "What do they of cricket know? Only cricket know." Which is the most profound cricket line you can hear. And it's literally that. Also in football, the socialization of the world through football. How when I'm in Rio, I can chat with someone. I can actually chat with someone just taking names of players.
Yeah.
You just have to mention Garincha, for example, which means you know a little bit about old Brazil from the Pele days and all that. And which is an old timer is interested in talking to you. So I find sports where I've gone brings people together in a nice way. And I enjoy the concept of being insincere. I love talking sports.
But how do you keep up? Because for me, it's like cricket is consuming.
There's no tension. I mean, there's no pressure. It's like people say, why are you trying to be funny? I think people are trying to be funny are in trouble.
Yeah.
If you think about it and suddenly, but then there's pressure. You die. Be like, he asked me the time, I didn't have come back, which is a good joke. 9:35-ish. What do? You can't do that. You just be yourself. So I love sports. I can talk sports with anyone anywhere.
I can only do cricket. Because I find it a taxing thing. Like, because I have all these other projects that I do. And then cricket. It's like a thing. It's a thing I do.
In the lockdown, my mother and I are bonding. Because we are discussing, my dad is now, his mind is not good, so he's in another space. Let's say that he struggles to remember Bradman. Which was a law in my house. You could not compare cricketers to batsmen to Bradman. Like my dad had a rule, you don't compare anyone to Shakespeare, Mozart and Bradman. If you do, then you're out of the house.
Okay.
So we don't mention their name also. There's a famous thing in Australia when Bradman came to bat, there's a hush. That's the saying. Now they don't use it anymore. A hush in the crowd. The hush is because of the expectation of this great man. And it literally, the first wicket falls, pin drop silence.
Yeah.
And there's a hush as he comes, and it slowly becomes a roar. You know that hush
Ah.
of. You see a little bit of that with Sachin.
But you
You know,
never Kohli, bro. Whenever someone gets out,
So it's a Bradman effect. It's a Bradman effect. And I love all these little things. See, that's more than cricket, you know. That's the thing where, and that's where now you're Hindu, Muslim, upper caste, lower caste, Parsi, Christian,
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Buddhist, Anglo-Indian, foreigner in the IPL who've come to watch. Everybody's there for the cricket. The cricket's taken over, you know, and that's fabulous. So it gives me goosebumps too. Think about all these
Yeah,
things.
and the best part about cricket is that you can watch any match, right? Especially if it's like a test match, right? And you can draw all the parallels you need in life out of a test match, right? And most importantly, cricket isn't restrictive in terms of body types. Like you have to be tall to play basketball.
Yeah.
Right?
You're talking about Rakeem Cornwall of West Indies, 6'5.5", 328
You can get a Rakeem also, and
He's fast, no?
yeah, and the beauty is a Rakeem will be bowling to some Bangladeshi tiny bachu.
5'3",
Yeah.
80 pounds.
Right.
Who's got wrist of steel, and the ball goes over
Yes.
mid-wicket. You're like, you know, I'm benching 375. I can't get the ball over mid-on. It's like,
I love it. It's a true leveler. You know, you don't need.
Ajit Agarkar bat in the nets. Okay, and he's a 5'9", 5'10", very thin, and you think a not very powerful guy, but he does touch 145 at his peak.
Yeah.
So obviously there's power.
Yeah.
I've seen him hit the ball. Man, straight into the stands, high into the stands.
Ajit Agarkar has his name at the board on Oval, man.
Yeah.
Dravid doesn't do
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but he was initially a batsman. People forget that. He had those sequence of ducks, so people thought he was not a batsman and all that. But initially in Mumbai cricket, he began as a batsman.
I thought he was always a bowling all-rounder at least.
Batsman, and then became a bowler, then was an all-rounder for a bit, and then his batting just switched off till the end when he had that test century and all that. That's another story.
I think that was one of those days where you could see the guy just like a flip switch. Like
If he could get 100 in English conditions, he's a batsman.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and whatever. It's done now. He should have batted more for India. I think personally. He should have played more for India. Very talented kid.
Now where we stand as like with Dhoni finally got, I feel like that was interesting.
What do you want him
me.
to do? I mean, your COVID has come. It's fucking COVID, really. It's fucked up my sports calendar. Everything's gone all over the place. I mean, we were going to watch, this whole Australia-India series. The build-up to that would have been great. Now we don't know if it really happened. And we put our boys will go in from the IPL straight into a COVID.
Yeah,
I don't know how long, for 1 week, 2 weeks, they're not decided.
Tell me this: if one player
What's
gets
this?
sick,
One 3-day match. And Australia will be all over them. Then the chances are that our batsmen just won't be ready
Yeah.
for the bouncy wickets.
Yeah.
The whole story is that you can go from bouncy wickets to flat wickets easily.
Yeah.
Flat to bouncy, you need some time. Just the adjustment.
Not to mention that
The
T20
bowlers
has
not so
smaller
much. Batsmen,
boundaries.
yes.
T20 has smaller boundaries.
And they're holding back. Mitchell Stark is not playing IPL. The Hazelwood, they'll all be fresh and ready.
Yeah.
1 year of exercise.
Bichara Bumrah
India, bench out, India with Australian accent. Punch out. Oh God. Yeah, but coming back to Test cricket, so I remember in '86 when Botham was banned for cannabis for 6 months, and there's no more patriotic person in the history of English cricket than Botham.
Yeah.
And they banned him. One of my all-time favorites. And then this lady came on the. So we were watching the first match I got to see live at Lords. I'm sitting there scared, because all these foreigners around me, I didn't want to. I was just a brown boy, 15 years old, 14 years old, something like that. I'm sitting there. I went alone, huh? Like my mom, I stayed with my mom's friend. My mom used to work for BOAC.
You flew to the UK alone as well?
I flew alone. I went alone. My mom. It was a good middle class holiday. You stay with the mom's best friend, all paid for in that sense. You take a little pocket money. You spend 3 weeks in England, and the one promise was that take him to Lords. He's cricket crazy. Come on, what do you think?
I'm on your team, man. I think
I
it's
would
a
send my
great
aunt.
experience.
I mean, like, here's my aunt, here's my uncle. They're yours. Let me go to Lords.
I'm just glad that
Yeah.
you had the means.
Yeah,
That's great.
So it was the match was going on. Botham was not there, so I was upset about that. And then this lady comes on, streaker. I got to see a streaker. I'm 14, 15, horny as hell. Can you imagine? I love cricket. What could top that? So I'm there, Lords. And then the woman comes, breasts, everything exposed. I was like, wow, what a civilization. And she says, bring back Botham. I'm like, I won't marry that girl. This is my sentiment. And she's naked and beautiful looking woman. Oh man, I couldn't wipe the smile off my face. Dude. I went back, Biba auntie, my mom's friend, told her what happened. She laughed, I laughed. Then she took out a wine and I was like, she was like, because an Indian coming to England, these are kind of culture shocks that happen. So for them, they see their cousins and friends coming and all, they probably record Wankhede Stadium. Nobody's going to come take off their clothes and say, bring back Sunny.
It would have
This
been
used to happen.
such an interesting thing to see. Like वहाँ पे दारू भी हो रहा है.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a
Oh, they were very friendly. Slowly people adopt you and then it was fine.
Yeah.
I was a little culture shock because I wasn't used to people with full picnic baskets, beer in their hand.
Yeah.
It was a hot day, so guys are taking their shirts off. And the British are the fittest people in the world.
Yeah.
We all like looking at it. Are those boobs? Oh, it was fun. When I think about that.
Back to 1993, 94 when we were.
MTV
In,
was MTV?
MTV was 93.
No, MTV was 96.
Six. Radio was 93, I think.
93 radio, yeah.
Yeah.
Radio launched, FM radio launched
That's
August 15, 1993.
Yeah.
We were the first people who were called, all from English theatre. A guy called Keith Stevenson, Tanaz Karim, whose surname is now Irani,
How did that
Mohan
happen?
Kapoor. She married again.
Ah.
Bakhtiar, he's an actor.
Okay.
His brother used to act with us, Boris, who's now a doctor, long story. And then, so Mohan Kapoor, who Saap Singhi, I don't know if you remember all that.
I
One of the first.
you realize I was born in 93.
But can you imagine? So we went to AIR and all that with a little setup, and we had to actually you put the CD on. So me and my producer Jitin Hemde who did everything actually. So the first day we went, it was on time. Day 2, we had to be there just under 7 for our show at 7, Polo Island. 5 to 7, 10 to 7, we get in, put our CD and all that. And 10 to 7 we're there, no pune. There's no phone, nothing, no one to call. There's no mobile phone. We waited. 7:10 he came. 7:15 I started with apologies. AIR.
You got to shit.
So we borrowed the time, right? It was
Yeah.
on AIR, FM,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So we had to do it from there. And they gave us slots. So we had 7 to 8. 8 to 8, 9 was midday, and 9 to 10 was times. 9 to 11 was times. Yeah. So they were big, media houses.
Right.
We were just one guy called Jitain and Anil and Vivek Singh of Program Sports.
But that's
They were all starting
it's so interesting to me. Like right now, two guys I know are in AIR in Goa. Shout out to you, man. And it's just so chill.
Yes.
You can just get a radio show. Huh? It's not nearly as hard as it would seem to get a show on. Like even all the RJs I speak to, their stories of how they got the job. Yeah, I went and I said, "मैं तो कर सकता हूँ," and they got the job.
So my friend Ronak, same story. He's on ESPN and he does commentary, Hindi and English both for AIR whenever the matches are on. And I asked him, how do you get it? And he was, I just went to the thing, and there was this lady in charge. She met me. She chatted, said, come back. She liked me, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you walked in with no network, which is like an America story, making it in America or something. You ring a bell, you walk into Akashvani, you wait somewhere. She offered tea and dosa. You chatted, she liked him, and she said, okay. Nobody ever thought of it
But
to come.
that's what I keep realizing, with all these stories. Like I think the only thing between me and achieving a lot of things in life is just going and doing the thing.
Yeah, but you've got the energy, no? I hate the journey. For me, it's all about landing, not the journey. They always tell you destination is
Yeah.
more important than the journey. I hate the journey.
Just
But I
really-
love landing. Like, I want to be in the gym, I hate going to the gym. I want to be at the shoot, I hate going to the shoot. I want to be at the event, but I hate going to
So
the
you
event.
mean a physical transit is
Hate
exhausting to
journeys.
you?
Yeah. I got all kinds of other problems, man. I'm trying to think about it because I traced myself to Genghis Khan. He came up to Lahore. He destroyed everything in Iran, by the way. What he did to Tehran, we cannot even mention. Lahore, he came and said, no, I can't take the heat. So I actually turned back. Modern day Lahore, what's it called Lahore?
Right.
They didn't cross to come into, say, mid-India and
Yeah.
South India and all that.
He beheaded like 100.
So their technique was for the time, everybody says very barbaric, but if you study it, it's the same.
Everybody used to do it.
No, the thing is that to get less people killed, let's kill everyone initially. So everybody pays tribute and you can keep going.
Yeah.
Technically, it's a slightly Machiavellian and correct way of thinking. I say this with
I get you.
not to be insensitive, but
But I think in that business,
if
that's
I
how
was
you
a
do
conqueror,
things.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you were a conqueror, what will you do?
Yeah.
Should I kill 1 million when I can kill 100,000, but I have to do the 100,000 by lunch? That's the
Yeah.
only thing.
That's the
and
only
then have to break for lunch, have
Yeah.
a good one, and then nobody. And that worked most of the time because the next village gets the message that, and they would kill everything, animals and everything,
And
children.
they would pour silver into people's mouths and all.
yeah.
And it was,
Well, they were not so much into cruelty, huh? Like if you're of royal blood, they could not take the blood off the person, so they would wrap the person in a blanket, and the horses would stamp them to death.
oh, that's nice.
I would think so. If no one sees you suffering, and you get a blanket,
Could have just been thrown off a cliff, no?
let's make some more gags. It's a blanket ban sort of situation. Security blanket.
There's this scene in one show I was watching where camels trample a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But same concept.
Same
This is a Mid Eastern. What do you want to call it? The Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, that whole area
Yeah.
has kept all those for a long time. Kept those kinds of. Look, how can we judge all this, man?
It's no judgment.
It's not like we didn't
I
do
think
it.
the idea that
What
most of our audience nowadays has is when we talk about a subject, we're going to give a black and white rating out of 5 at the end or something, you know. Oh, this is a sucks or this is the best. But like, there's no room for this conversation.
No, but you know what we need to discuss is how the South Indian dynasties, who conquered more than anybody else in India, have been relegated in the history books. The Pallavas, the Cholas, they've not been given enough. They had, in terms of landmass, much more.
But,
The first great navy. Nobody discusses this. Now,
But
you
that's
started a very bad conversation with
That's
me.
the problem, right? When you have a
with due respect to Chandragupta and everybody
Yeah.
else, I mean, we've overdone it in the north and we've underdone it in the south. Who's going to give? I've called the PMO. I want this redress now. This is a huge issue. And what the Cholas did in terms of expansion and all is, I mean, did you know things like martial arts went from Kerala, for example, or
Yeah.
what is today modern Kerala?
Yeah.
Actually, there's a very strong genesis to that being the basis and not China.
Not China.
And in Tibetan monasteries, in Chinese monasteries, they acknowledge that.
Yeah.
That this Indian or
But
South Indian
we
descendants
have
come here and given them.
we have thousands of years of history. How do you fit all that in a textbook?
We need to keep restudying things, and find out the truth.
I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody from Lady Shriram, incidentally, where I was talking about how I feel like the most you can learn from history, like from old history, is just general stuff. I think there's no point in getting into specifics anymore. I think post-independence history is where I want to get into specifics.
Also, the cliche history written by a conqueror, blah blah blah. So whatever, it's like we make a portrait of the king. If you're in the medieval times or before, you better make him look good. The
But-
guys must have been really ugly. Some of them, but fuck, the painter's gonna be like, what? Oh, Hrithik Roshan. Yeah. The guy's like, very good. It's me. Who's gonna say no?
This Rockefeller was like that.
Rockefeller, the millionaire.
The millionaire, the business guy, the old guy, he had
Yeah.
a really ugly nose.
Yeah, no one
because
dared,
of some-
no one dared.
Nobody
What about
recreated
photos?
it. There are photos.
So what did they do? They put
But
your
they
face
were
on.
not allowed to be published at that time, apparently. All his portraits, they used to get
So
them.
when I was in acting studio in America for 4 months, I walked past Rockefeller Center every day.
Yeah.
And I kept looking up and thinking, one day.
How
Shit.
long was the course?
This is like 4 months, 14 weeks or something. That was the smallest course.
That was post MTV.
That was before MTV. I joined advertising, the Konyas. I was sitting around.
This is where all the oddballs go, in the 90s.
No, so we had a lot of role models like Alec, Bugs, Bhargav Krishna, Mohan Kapoor I mentioned, Ronnie Screwballa. All these guys are from the theatre,
Yeah.
who went into this sort of business. So you just thought it's a good idea because everybody told you that it's also creative, you won't get bored. And lots of girls and good daru. The drinking culture was there. My boss, Sylvia Konya, used to drink every lunch break
Yeah.
at Radio Club. 5.
This is,
So
I've
morning
been
won't
hearing
talk.
about this. How
Akash,
the-
morning won't talk. Morning be like, Cyrus, Amul. That would be the conversation. He'd come back at 1:45, 2, and he'd be whistling out of tune. Then we'd hear him coming in, and he'd be like, "Oh, feet on the desk, good for you." And suddenly he was like really friendly, like a college kid. He's a great guy.
I've heard this,
Yes.
like 90s advertising in Bombay especially was insane. It was Mad Men type level of...
Growth of Piyush Pandey changed the face of advertising. What a guy! I love that guy.
Yeah.
Love that guy. And he just said enough of all this. We've gone to it's just too elitist, which it was. And he started talking more from a Aam Aadmi sort of point of view. We had that genius.
Yeah.
People should never forget. Piyush Pandey single-handedly and alone changed advertising. And I was there to see that, right from the inside. When I started winning everything, this couple of years we were there, they won all the awards everywhere, they came in black. And he lived at the end of my lane, and just walked my German Shepherd. So he would be looking out, and I was like a nobody, doesn't know who I am,
Yeah.
like the dog. So he'll say, "Hey, young man, bring the dog up, join us for a drink." So I just went up. I'm sitting there with Prasoon Pandey. I mean, I was just a copywriter trainee.
Yeah.
1,150 rupees, which they would deduct something from. I still want to ask them about it. And these big legends are there. And Piyush would tell a joke. Piyush would say, तो एक बंदा ऐसा था, दूसरा बंदा ऐसा था, और फिर उसकी माँ उसके बाप बन गया. And on cue, everyone would laugh. This is the Hindi Sammelan style, which I picked up. Sticker Suman made it famous later, and Raju Srivastava.
Yeah.
They time the laugh, and they give you the cue when you should laugh as an
Yeah,
audience. Not to dumb down the Hindi medium effort, but it's very clearly it's like a rule.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Out. And they
But
do
there's
that.
a lot of comics now also.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't like look down on any forms, whatever it is. But it was great fun, and he was a great guy, and he's the one who taught me one of the greatest lessons in life. You can feed your dog alcohol. And he would be, Volpe, come here, and he would put in his lovely, can you imagine the juniors in the room who have served some really bad was whiskey? No, he was a generous guy. So he just, I'm not saying is a generous guy. He put his finger in the glass, and you give it to the dog. I didn't think of this before. So we would drink together. So now you have a drinking companion for life. You just lick your finger as dogs do.
Very interesting.
And he's a cricket lover. He and Arun,
Yes.
Arun Lal grew up together.
Grew up together, yeah.
And he's played for Rajasthan and University Cricket. He's a decent
yeah.
wicketkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves the game. Couldn't go wrong. He loves girls. He loves dogs. He loves the game. I'm in, and he's a big shot. My life was made. Yeah, so that was good.
Was it? It's interesting because when I met you again many years after that at the IVM studio, and I was like, oh my god, you know Chicken Center, we must go for a drink. But by then you had stopped drinking.
2015.
Conscious decision?
Yeah, you don't. How do you? I mean,
Sometimes it's health.
My drinking led me to lots
sometimes
of
it's-
conscious.
No, sometimes health also. Like you know,
No,
you
not
gotta.
health. Just behavior. I've said this 100 times. What happened is that when I was in my 20s, being a single male, sister had left. Friday night I would drink, I would sing, I'd come back, sing Italian opera naked on my dining table. My mother would wake up in the morning and tell me, Joe, what you did, and they'd be giggling. Everyone thought it was really cute.
Yeah.
This crazy kid, and everybody thought it was really cute. Then your stories got a little worse. Elvis tie is on my car. My dad goes to walk the dog in the morning, finds the tie on the car mirror. Still cute, funny. But then I got married, I had kids, now I'm like a grandfather. I become a creepy old, getting into fights and,
Yeah.
A lot of people stopped talking to me, which I thank them for now because I don't want to be social.
Yeah.
But, and I don't know what happened. So obviously I've done something to them while drinking.
Yeah.
After some time my body of work spoke for itself because a lot of people are now not friendly, avoiding you. And all my boys in the gym would be cleaning up my act all the time. Like I remember, apparently I urinated on somebody. Okay, and obviously a fight should have broken out, but luckily I have a lot of people there, so nothing happened. So I got a lot of protection, I thought, which I didn't deserve.
Yeah.
And these boys are younger than me, these rugby kids and football kids are putting me in the car, sending me home, like the little Joel that I am. I was okay at 17.
Yeah.
But now I'm older than them, I'm still behaving 17.
Yeah.
It's just like irony. I remember once in the toilet somewhere, we had a punching thing to break something and we broke the whole panel. I mean, and I was in my 30s or 40s by then.
Yeah. Then you don't want to be that guy anymore.
Yeah, so I'm not really like that,
So you just completely went cold turkey?
No, it just, after many months of just sitting over it, I took 1 week off. I only drank Friday night, or once a week or once in 2 weeks. And then I took 2 weeks off, then I took 3 weeks off. In a month I managed. Then I never stopped. I got that every Friday, because for so many years I'm classic conditioned for Friday.
Yeah.
And I've got this slightly very Germanic mentality. I do everything like, just flows. It has to flow on time, because I go berserk. So Kunal and I used to drink, we used to start at 7:30.
Right.
So if we had parties in my house and all in the 90s, at 10:30 guests would come, I was the most drunk.
Yeah.
I had broken glasses in the house and all that,
Yeah.
I don't know why. Once I remember throwing glasses down from the window with 2 of my friends. What if somebody died?
Yeah.
We were just throwing glasses.
Yeah.
It was juvenile. I've done terrible things, you have no idea.
Ah. But you should still come for the chicken though.
Chicken Center, they call us Baba. 2015, I was 42, 43 or something.
Still call you Baba, yeah.
Baba. And they know my drink, which is like the straw inside the glass with Diet Coke, no ice. And then after 2 drinks, 1 ice and vodka. Okay, so my drink was very different from anybody else's, so that was fine. But if I brought anybody there, even once they would remember the order for life.
Yeah,
What a
that's
talent, those guys.
always the place. For the longest time,
I should have higher than.
that place used to be open with the shutter half down till 4-5 in the morning.
Yeah, all that.
And based on how much of a regular you were, you could stay. And I remember at one point I was such a regular that I was there till 5 in the morning. And then I realized, I think this is I don't want to be a
if you
regular.
don't misbehave, I don't have a problem with the drinking. The misbehaving as you grow older is a problem. I also don't mind 20, behave 20. You should let your hair down. You should have some bad stories.
Yeah.
It's fine. 2 things. Don't get fight with people because that's just disgusting at the end.
Yeah.
Why do you justify it the next day?
Yeah.
Why do you fight with the guy? You're drunk. The guy was in your way or something. The boys tell me later what I did. I can't tell you all those. I can't explain it. It's too infantile. Yes, you can explain.
I get sad if I drink too much. So I'm like, I'm
So you
only a
become
danger to
Muhammad Rafi.
myself. Like I'm not a danger to anybody else when I'm drunk.
Your stories are different. Yeah.
So I think it's now, but you know what? It was so interesting. For the longest time, I quit drinking for about 2.5 years. This is around when I went from chops to thin.
Yeah.
And
Well, was it to do with the mental depression thing?
it was also to do with the depression because alcohol can, if you're already in a sad place and then you drink, then you end up in a way worse.
One way
place.
out of that, never look at the bill. I'm lucky enough to have a good pal Kunal as my frontman, because initially only he was earning money when we started drinking and I was in theatre. So he get $100 for the
What
play.
did he do?
So he was working in Decunias. He was like the creative, 10 people in the company. It means you're just better than me. The creative head.
Yeah.
He got a decent salary, he had a
Yeah.
car, got free petrol. Huge thing, no, for our generation.
Yeah.
Free petrol. Let's take my car. You know, it's the great stuff. So I had.
How did y'all meet? Sorry.
We auditioned him for a play, actually. I'm his senior in terms of theatre.
Okay.
He's just much older than me. We were doing a pantomime. Ali Baba and Bablu the Bear, if you must know. But it was a kids' 11 o'clock morning show, and so you needed really loud performances and faces. So these kids were reading with us. We called Kunal for somebody recommended Kunal for the reading, and then I recognized him as I'd done a voiceover, and he was the client. It was the agency rather. And I remember Mishal Verma and me had done it. And he was very unfriendly. I think he never smiled, he never laughed.
Right.
He was just an odd guy because I'm one of the lads kind of guy with these 5-6 guys. And when we do work, we're all just, monkeying around and behaving like idiots. And he was the only guy who was standoffish and introverted and slightly whatever. So that's why, and he had a earring. And God, he looked awful.
He had a earring.
He had an earring for a long time.
I want to see photos.
He and his friend Rahul Dukunya went and got their ears pierced or something,
Did he have a earring at this time in this photo?
Maybe not. But you're so fat by now that your earring might have slipped inside it and lost forever. But yeah, so he came for the reading. Let me tell you about the reading. I've told this story many times. Rahul Bose and him are the only two guys I've read with in plays in English. Okay, which is their first language, so they can't even say that, okay, they're struggling with lines, they need time to get familiar. Who read badly, purposely. Okay, Rahul reads badly purposely, for whatever reason, and then he kind of masters it and comes back. Kunal reads badly out of laziness. Okay, so I will now read Kunal for you. Let me just find. Let's put your what is it? Patriotism to a test. Huh? Now, the thing is, this is a pantomime filled with loud noises and sounds and kids screaming and shouting and pakro, 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 bachao, mujhe bachao, kaun hai wo? That's the kids thing. And that's what we're all doing around the table. One kid is shouting, bachao, bachao, I'm saying, Darumat, Darumat, Bhagya. And so somebody, and all at this level, and then in the middle of that, it's like, एक second, रुको, मैं आपका चाचा, the whole thing, and all the kids the momentum just went out of the room, man. And then he coughs all the time. He's smoking 40 a day, and in the middle he'd go like, मैं आपके पीछे, and that guy. And I looked at Ryan across the room and said, who's this atrocious man? Why? But his face was so funny, not out of any choice of his, just a round face which made strange expressions. The kids liked him. When he left, we asked the kids, what do you think of this guy? They said she had a boxer dog called Boxy Boo. A boxer with that pug face. So they all said he looks like the boxer. Kids are not being malicious, they were being really visual. And then we all realized.
So nicely he's shooting my legs and all, like.
This is also a porn.
Odd indications.
This is foreplay.
Upper half. Upper half you're shooting. Then I'm upset that you're not shooting my
So we
legs.
cast him. The rest is lack of history, as you will find out one day.
It's the seeing the two of you hang out with each other is
No, so I'll explain that story. So what happened is we started doing other plays and the senior plays in the evening. And what happened is he and I would last the night. Where everybody at some point would go home.
Yeah.
So we would go to Bade Mein and eat at the end, that kind of thing. I had a girlfriend then, so 3 of us. And I always had some girlfriend, he never had any. So anybody ever asked us, are we gay? Please ask him, okay? He's the one we don't have enough information about. And anyway, so he had a car, he had money. He was willing to stay out till 4 or 5. Basically, he didn't have a life.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a life, he didn't have a life. We found each other, now we still didn't have a life.
As people in comedy tend to.
Yeah, yes, people in comedy tend to. Although I must stress, and I tell Kostov this all the time, and because he's so upset about it, he and me are distinctly different type of people. He is not a comedian. As in, his intent is never to be funny ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And he doesn't get that validation deal either. He doesn't really care about whether you like him or not. So it's okay. So please leave him alone. He's just an angry man who masturbates a lot. That's it.
Is it, the bickering that you all do whenever you all are together? you know what I mean, right, Kaustubh? Like they bicker like an old couple.
Yeah, but
like it's
the
a
thing is, I'm a little bit on speed and fast, and he's slow, so it's always a difficult. I can't deal with slow people.
right. But then you would
So-
expect the friendship.
I don't know how it lasted. He irritates me all the time because I can't repeat things to him. Yesterday he was talking about somebody and he used the name Niranjan, which is one person, and he started talking about Niranjan. So I said, "You're talking about Niranjan?" No, you know I'm not talking about Niranjan. It was a slip of the tongue. You know I'm talking about whoever the other person was. So I said, "No, but you weren't clear. You said Niranjan. No, but you don't take it literally. You have to do that point fault. And he got angry and put the phone down. That's how. But I have this problem. The moment he says something, I have to go back to it. Yeah, I tease him a lot, and I have the most fun. My life is so empty that I would just do things like, so where are you? 7th Road. Big pause. 7th Road. Because now he thinks he knows all roads of Bombay. What the fuck is 7th Road? So it's 7th Road. 7th Road. So this is Sat Rasta. Oh. So I just bug him like this with stupid conversation, but he never gets it. He never gets it. So this is just fun for me. Just to irritate him, for him to pause, awkward pause. He's always so serious, so I know the reaction is going to be good.
Yeah, you
This is
know.
the ultimate bakra actually in that sense.
Do you ever feel like love and hate are so close to each other? Like when you really love someone, no, you also kind of hate them.
It's difficult to love Kunal.
No, I mean anybody, right? Like even with family, like if you really, really love them, you also kind of hate them.
I think I just get used to people, man. And I just don't want to get rid of them after that. And my problem is that I see myself as a tribal leader,
Ah,
stuck with my tribe.
yeah,
But if I could change them, I would have. But I can't.
because it's a tribe.
It's a tribe.
You can't change it, right?
It's your job. What
Yeah.
can you do? Yeah. But we had lots in common, like food and stuff and all initially. But now I realize that we don't have so much in common. Because it's now the truth about what he really likes starts coming out. He used to drink vodka because I drank vodka. He didn't really like vodka, but we didn't have enough budget to drink fancy whiskey at that
Right.
point.
Now there is budget, right?
But the theatre does that. I know with the comedians, if you all do that, we always would drink the alcohol of choice of the majority to save money. You know, there would be 4 bottles of vodka because the women all drank vodka. So then we all started drinking vodka. I used to prefer rum at that point, to be honest.
Old
Dark
monk.
rum. But there's no one drinking it.
Yeah.
So then, 1 or 2 guys who insisted on whiskey would get their own black label and then you didn't want to, but I didn't really like whiskey. And we drink vodka. So I became a vodka drinker because of default. And then that's the way it stayed. What do you-
Until it stopped.
Until it stopped, yeah.
When did you get tired? Did you get tired of MTV at some point? Did you
No.
feel like it was kya thai gayu? Like
I got an offer from ESPN actually about 4-5 years before I quit, which I now regret not taking. But the money wasn't that great in the end because they 100 days of work and whatever,
Right.
and you'll be going all over. But Ray Hume came from Australia, and I should have made that move then. But ever since I didn't make that move, I started getting worried. Like, what am I doing here? And we started Rajdeep's show only because of the age thing. As I get older, I'm going to colleges and all. Now I'm in my 30s, I'm in my mid 30s.
Yeah.
I can't go to Lady Shriram and the hot girls. And 10 years ago, when you started talking to them, you were almost their age, so it seemed normal. Now I'm like the uncle who's that creepy uncle or that teacher who's trying to pick on chicks because he can't meet people of his own age. So I started, I just started thinking I need to get out a little bit. But they were very nice to me. They didn't throw me out as much as I tried. I thought they would. And they said, no, do 5 days.
you were a
do
huge
3 days.
asset, dude. Like with especially with
Maybe for
Bakra
6 months. But, down the line, they should have. But it's been 14 years, which is more than enough, I would think.
Yeah.
When I started doing week that wasn't, so I said, let me, slowly move out and see where that progresses. And we're stuck in that show for 14 years and no money. This is the story of life. You depress me, I may go back to alcohol.
When you do call me, I'll
Speaking of
drink
which,
with you.
Keep talking. This is my asshole now.
protein drink?
Yeah, this will make me sweat because there's creatine in it.
Oh, creatine makes you sweat. Huh?
Yeah.
What all shots do you want to
We're good with no.
You're doing great, man. Cheers.
Now you're shooting for Cyrus's channel now.
You're done.
I mean,
You can take a nice cut of foreign collaboration and all that.
we're gonna take a quick break and come back right after this.
This episode of the AMF podcast is dedicated to Babu. Sorry, Babu. Sincerely.
We're back with the second half of AMF with Cyrus, and it was so weird. Like with you and Anu, these were the 2 episodes.
Who's Anu?
Anu Menon.
Anu. Huh.
Uh,
Anu with my neighbor. Sorry.
With both of you.
Lola Kutti.
Yeah, and it felt like a nice, full circle moment interviewing either of them. Even when I did your podcast for that first time, it felt like it felt almost surreal in the sense that I grew up watching you.
Oh God.
And I'm not somebody who gives a shit about the whole celebrity vibe, but like with you and Anu, I think it was because growing up I was somebody who liked funny stuff the most, and you all were the kind of the epitome of what was funny in that period of time. In fact, MTV was fucking hilarious. शर्म नाम की कोई चीज है, शर्म चीज 500 ग्राम के पैक में अवेलेबल. What the
All that,
fuck?
yeah, the
What
promos and-
hilarity, dude.
Liftman was hilarious. So many. Yeah, I think up to the roadies took over and became into this
Yeah.
soap opera. Boys from bikes,
Drama,
bad
reality drama.
families,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that shit happened. It's funny from another angle, but yeah. But I don't be complex about all this. I think things just change. So that ship was there, irreverent sort of ship was there when we were there for some time. And it was a good team, we had good fun, can't complain. Many of them are in very big positions today, and obviously they won't hire each other.
Yeah.
Because you've worked with us before. So that's a good.
But whatever happened to irreverence in television? It just vanished, dude.
Congress was saying they'll bring it back. That's a toughie. I think reality TV just took over. Ironically, Bakra was one of the first reality TV shows. It's a
Yeah.
reality show.
Yeah.
It's not scripted from any angle.
And people didn't even know you then.
No, they
right?
didn't know.
Like
Bakra changed everything actually. We just had, our market was just schools and colleges. So there we got little bhav. We did events. We'd go, I'd have the Red Mendi playing or Sonu Nigam at that time and all. They would all be touring with us. They weren't that big yet. So, and A.R. Rahman. And we would perform depending on which area of India you were in and all. So those were bigger. Events were huge for us in the beginning in the 90s.
Right.
Mid-90s to 2000. Then it all switched. Bollywood started becoming bigger. We moved into Bollywood in a big way. And then people started noticing us. But outside the college spectrum and all that school spectrum, it was only because of issues like Bakra.
Right.
Which suddenly then the Dhobi's kid comes and talks to you. A guy who I parked the car,
Yeah.
the guy who's charging me. I tell this story all the time outside the Kempscona Bridge, which is my area. We had that dog shop and the bookstore, Crossword.
Yeah.
So we, I remember, they used to charge, you're too young, Akash, but $5 was the thing when they started charging it. For the parking under the bridge. A few parking slots were there, right? So I parked once, I was a young father, my son and my wife had gone to attend some party or something there. So I said, I'll find the parking, then I'll come in.
Yeah.
Those days you had a chance. So we left early so we can do all this. Put the car in, went, did the party, another boring kids party, joker, all that crap, you have to sit through, come back, spend money on it, already depressed. Come, get into the car, and this boy in the banyan, typical, Vijay, Amitabh Bachchan's character when he's 10, comes to me and says, kitna hua? So he says, 50 rupees. So 2003, 4, 5, 6, something like that. So he says, 50 rupees? कल 5 रुपया और आज 50 रुपया हाँ सर मैं क्या बोलूँ अभी ऐसा हो गया वो ऑर्डर्स है इनका ऑर्डर्स है so I started mopping galis not to him but to myself but loudly what the fuck is this what the fuck is that like that now to me क्या हो गया आप तो बकरा बनाते हैं सबको और आप बना नहीं सकते and I was so stupid. One of the rare times he actually caught me good and proper. After that, I've been on my guard, even in restaurants and all that. And either way, I'm saying if I stay calm, I won't look bad. If it's true or not true. But there, I lost it. And once I lost it, I couldn't take it back.
Yeah.
So then I had to accept defeat. So I accepted defeat. I smiled and told him and all. But he was tickled pink. And he had a story for the ages.
Yeah.
I caught this chute. He's just another chute. He's not this funny, friendly guy. Just another chute. And my wife and son in the car. So the humiliation was complete. And your spouse is your biggest critic. So, no one is happier than her. For her, the whole birthday party had now spiritual meaning. That kid was immortalized. Whoever's party it was. Yeah.
When it comes to something like Bakra, like this is a very random question, but do you own the IP to something like Bakra?
No, in fact, no, we didn't. And I think the channel I forget his name now. The channel producer who went and bought the IP at that time. Shashank Ghosh. I don't know how that played out. There's a big fight going on. But I know that I don't have the rights now because somebody had asked me 2 years back to MTV Bakra. Yeah. But to Bakra it's a generic word, so that's a toughie.
That's a toughie.
Yeah. You can figure a way around it. Side ka Bakra, whatever. There's got to be a way.
But you never felt like going back to it also.
Well, if somebody gives us money, yes. A few people approached us actually initially. But we've done so many gags, man, that we've got to reinvent it in a way where it's going to be fun for us. You can't just come and do it like a government job.
Yeah.
Because, 700-800 gags, I don't know how many we've done.
What's the
Bombay,
best
Delhi,
one?
Chennai, Bangalore, Manipal, Pune.
What was your favorite gang?
Oh, that's damn tough. I like the gags which actually play out and we don't really know what's happening. So, from an insider point of view, like the first Lash gag that we had done, we never thought of the success of the gag. I keep saying this again, I'm repeating this again, but because people don't understand when you do candid camera show, you only worry about what goes wrong. Sometimes what goes right is what goes wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're not prepared for it going really well ever. You only worry कि ये चलेगा ना camera, sound का problem नहीं होगा. वो पकड़ो ये तरफ से, उस तरफ से, इस तरफ से. All that you're thinking of fine, great.
Yeah.
And those variables are always, especially moving cars and things like, always a problem.
Yeah.
But there's also the other side. Sometimes, once in a while, not every time, once in a while you hit it out of the park. So what happened is fucking Lash is in the car. I'm a driver with a topi, the old-fashioned driver, you know, and I'm asking for directions from a guy at a Worli bus stop. And I basically asked for Andheri. And I asked him which direction are you going. So finally, after 2-3 of these things, the guy agrees to come in the car with me. And since he's going in vaguely the same direction, because I'm new to the job, I don't want to lose my job, all that shit. That's the whole preamble. He sits in the car, we're talking. All normal. Nothing, don't, whatever. Then one sound comes from the Lash. So he looked and said, "Kya awaaz hai?" So I said, "No, Lash pada hai wahan." So the moment I said that in a casual way, already his heart is beating. So he then after, he doesn't want to ask me more questions, and he finally says, "But Lash kaisa?" So he साहब का बेटा का मौत हो गया, accident हुआ, and I gave some spiel and all that. Now he's even more uncomfortable. And I'm just driving around with a dead body. And then after some time, the dead body makes another sound. I look at him, he looks at me, but I don't say anything, we don't talk. We are both feeling uncomfortable. Then Ajit Ahuja, our actor, producer, who is now a director of sorts, somewhere, gets up. Akash, he opened the door outside Prabhadevi. Mandir on the right. The Manmohan Desai film at its best. He walked out I couldn't slow it down. I'm in proper traffic at a 30-40. But I can't brake there, no? Cars are behind. How do I brake? And plus he caught me off guard. So Ajit gets up, the Lash gets up. He opened the car and tumbled out. I tried to brake a little bit, but what could I do? He tumbled out, ambassador car. He got up. Behind are 3 sumos. One on the side, 2 behind. Capturing. They all come to the side and 20 men get out chasing him. We didn't think any of this through. So first, a Lash woke up. Stranger's car. Then he gets up and he sees all kinds of men chasing him, saying, "Roko, roko, roko." So he thinks some gangsters or something. We never saw him again. I didn't sleep that night. I was thinking, "Main to mar gaya? Heart attack or something." He turned fucking white. The dark-skinned man, he turned white. Like they say in the books, you read that line, he turned pale. I saw that live. I saw his blood leave his body. He ran like P.T. Usha. We never saw him again into the Shivaji Park area in that pouring traffic at 12 in the afternoon. Never saw him again. When we went back, fuck, I broke the glasses. When we went back to discuss it on the table, we said, "Fuck, we didn't think about this, man." We had it. It was one of the most successful gags. But we didn't think about this, you know.
It's so weird. The guy never came back to you.
He didn't look back, bro. He saw those 20 guys.
No, I mean, when he saw it on TV, right? Somebody would have known him, would have gone to him and be like, "Bro, you're on TV."
There was no permission thing, nothing. Then we got that disclaimer. Then we got the permission. We all trial and error, na, first time. Not to take our side. But imagine what happened to you, man, Akash. You got all kinds of problems. You got bills to pay. You got a father who's sick. I don't know. Fuck, man. The guy's life must have been. And then you get this. And it compounds. When he gets up, wow, cars are stopping and more and more men are coming out and telling him to stop. You know? And I'm trying to stop the car on the left. I first get from the middle to the left to stop my car. And there's a fucking dead body which is alive shouting, "Stop, stop." That poor guy. Poor fucking guy. He must hate Parsis. But you know what the hell I was. Oh man.
Was there any gag that went horribly wrong in that sense? Did you ever stop at cops and all?
Oh, so many times.
Yeah, no.
Apologize, paid, kill out, everything that we had to do. But not a problem until 2611. Then everything changed. Then road became damn tough. Suddenly vigilance was there and they were not looking kindly. You know, the old thing was, you know, the rules are flexible. But then suddenly after 2611, road became tough for us. We had to be careful. Otherwise, Oshiwara, for example, Oshiwara was like, I would wear police uniform and do all the shooting there because of one wide road that we liked. And I would, so we became so complacent, me and my fellow officers would break for lunch in Food Inn, because I want my tandoori chicken. So Food Inn nearby, that was there. And we'd sit there as policemen. And the crew would sit with us and we'd all talk, some of us in English and all that, all sounding odd, you know, with the fake mustache, pull it out, put it down. I mean, no questions asked, and the fucking staff is looking and saying, "What the fuck is going on?" Then we go and we walk. What happens is you get more confident when you do this, right?
Yeah.
The first time you do it, you're shitting actually.
Yeah.
Second time you do the gag. You do a gag about 5 or 6 times, you're now God. You have no fear. Your body language, especially you're playing a cocky cop, becomes really good.
Right.
Because now you think you're Ilaka ka king.
Yeah.
No one is stopping you. I used to even flag off cop cars when I was dressed like that. Because let me tell you about cops. They always have to salute the senior.
Yeah.
And nobody actually is going to check who the fucker is. You just salute by, that's the habit.
Yeah.
Nobody's guilty of anything.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. That is only because of overconfidence that happens after some time. When people do get scared of police, because once you start walking like that, people avoid you. They avoid eye contact also and all. Especially a senior officer. And I would, I would wear that uniform and start acting like I'm Vinod Khanna and Amarak Anthony for some reason. A reference from my time. Sorry about it, Google. Huh.
I think they get it. They get it. Every time I say mean things to the audience, like, you are 17 years old only, and then they reply with, no, I'm not.
The shame that I live with. You talk about suicide, I don't make fun of it, depression. I thought of it that day. I had a girl who used to work in IVM for some time from Delhi, for Delhi girl. Okay, but she was about 22 at that time, about a couple of years back. So, she'll be 24 now. We are having a conversation, someone like you, a cricket lover, and the Kapil Dev name comes in, and I've kept her on the show because I wanted her to also talk on the Cock and Bull. And we're chatting, and she says, who's Kapil Dev? Who is Kapil Dev? I never thought in my life I would have someone
So
say
the guest or a producer?
a young Delhi girl who worked as a producer or whatever, she was working as something. So we wanted a female, and I just wanted a female voice in Cock and Bull because there's only men talking all the time. And not to sound sexist, but how can you say who is Kapil Dev? How can I live in a country where someone doesn't know who Kapil Dev is? I cried. I went and hugged my parents. I said, what's happening?
What do you think? Now that's very interesting to me that you say this, because you are a Kapil Dev fan, and I am conflicted about Kapil Dev because of that
Controversy.
Yes.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Who knows the truth? But growing up, I'm trying to think of. I don't want to judge too much. It's like you don't want to know about their personality, who they cheat on their wives and all that. That spoils everything. So don't get into that. Okay, this is different. This is much worse if it was to be true. But I think of the guy who inspired me. He'd look at the sun, fifth wicket would fall, he'd come in, and then your heart would beat fast because Kapil Dev is coming to bat, and then there's going to be some fun. Yeah. And then the ball would go flying here, then everywhere. He'd take on the bowlers in that swashbuckling way. Well before T20, Kapil Dev was Kapil Dev. Yeah. He had that. Sunny and Kapil were the two pillars, the two pillars for us, for my generation. Yeah. And, Kapil with the new ball, beating Viv Richards outside the off stump and all, on flat Indian wickets. Fantastic talent, you can't deny that. So the kind of inspiration he was for me, these heroic cricket figures, I want to keep it that way. That may not be fair if they were guilty of something bad, I suppose. But I don't want to, I don't want to. This is my childhood. It's like you're raping my childhood. Don't rape my childhood. Just leave my childhood alone. That's all I got. Look at this fucking life after that. Look at this hair and organs failing and sick and fat and bills and life.
You're not sick or fat. You're so fit. You are not fit.
I just like weight training, man. I just like weight training. It's got nothing to do with anything else. Because I've got time. Don't have enough work. Yeah.
Do you really think is that? I think you genuinely give a shit about it. Who drinks keratin drink?
Creatine. Well, the thing is, again, I've mentioned this millions of times. We had this girl in Loveline, this psychiatrist, who I used to drink heavily that time, who told me, after, they get to know you. So Malaika and I used to chat with her about our personality disorders. Malaika's disorders are none that we know because she wasn't as open as I was, frankly, in the conversations. So she didn't get the kind of deductions from the therapist. But I was open. I tell her a problem. I drank too much on Friday, came back, I forgot this, I dropped the car, whatever. And so she told me a very simple thing after. She said, I've studied you for a long time, I've watched you at work and all. You're an extreme personality. So the great thing about extreme personality is that while you do bad things on one extreme, you can be very orthodox also, which can be a good thing. Right. So the same, you'll notice that very disciplined people can be like the worst people. They only can go from 1 to 100, they don't have a 50. So that's the thing. Right. So she said, why don't you try, instead of, your mother tells you to drink less, never drink less, don't drink. So, I never thought of it as a profound philosophy then. I was like, another fucking pain in the ass. And I can't do drinking. But the day I stopped, I realized that I can never do moderate drinking. Why get into that moderate drinking phase? Yeah. Why mom would say, why can't you just have 4? Stop at 4. Moms care. They actually think their kids are good, Stupid mothers. They don't understand.
You're saying this, but it's making me realize that I'm like this as well.
So then just stop.
Yeah.
If you're extreme personality, just stop. You put your extreme in something else. You I'm obsessive, extreme, whatever. So I'll weight train. I take my dogs to Oval under all conditions. Lockdown, fuck the authorities. I do it. Ganpati procession, riots, 26/11. I do it because I'm like that. I'm mental. But once I have a thing, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, and there's no room for moderation.
There's no room for moderation.
That's why I don't follow other sports, right? Like
don't.
Once you get into cricket, once you're in it, I'm in it.
You can't compare other sports to the love for cricket.
I mean, basketball is a beautiful sport, but I can't do both. And also, cricket.
How can you compare basketball? The stupid guys with a little thing and you throw a ball in and that's it. The nuances of cricket. The guy, all the bowler does is turn at the top of his mark and we stop there and we have a story. We don't ever go to the next bit. Just that turn. And it starts there. What the fuck? Okay, that's not that bad a sport, but yeah, too much. Anti-American rant, unnecessary.
How does it, what's it like? So that I mean, you and your wife and the kids, right? Like now you have all these people around you, and you're not in your 20s or 30s, and then now it's how do you handle an extreme personality with these people around? Like how
Oh,
is it a terminus, constantly terminus?
so my
situation?
negative points, if you want that, is that I'm very impatient, and
But how does it work with the family? For me,
so that's the problem. All the fights are over impatience. Like today, I screamed at my daughter for no reason because she wanted ice in the water, but she starts talking like the mom now. Where's my water? Where's my ice? Little bit of berating and nagging. So I lost it for 1 second. That kind of thing. But she's got the impatience from me. This is the irony. I think with human beings, we've got to understand one thing. Everybody sucks. We're all choots. Once you have that as your, premise, then you're okay, I think. Because then you don't expect too much. Low-hanging fruit, aim low, pee on your feet. That's where it stands, as far as I'm concerned. So, I think it was John Stuart Mill. I'm not sure. No, Leviathan was written God, I can't remember now. One of the great political commentators of England who wrote, man is basically selfish, egoistic and cruel. That's it. Acquisitive nature of man. That's all we are. Acquire, selfish, egoistic and cruel. If we can just accept that that's true, and then out of that, if we can do good things once in a while, that's the best we can hope for.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's Mother Teresa. Except maybe Mother Teresa, but then how do I know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we live certain people.
And she, because force of habit, get it.
Who else is in this frame?
So that's Rajesh Irji. He did a play with us.
Let me.
So Rajesh was not famous that time also. Rajesh was also, what was Rajesh? He's a lawyer as well, if I remember correctly. And so he also had an excellent career afterwards, but started in plays, English and Gujarati. I think Hindi as well, actually. Did some Hindi plays as well. Hindi theatre actually is the least popular, strangely. It's not as strong.
He has been on, he's now doing radio and all, no? I remember
Well,
it was,
at one time he was doing lots of television and a few films.
I think the one thing he did which I found most hilarious was when he was doing this show called The Man's Show or something. Remember?
Yeah. Two of them, no? He and one more guy.
One more guy.
Yeah.
And anyway, so yeah.
That was a good concept though. I don't remember it. Something about metrosexual sort of AXN on AXN.
Yeah.
So we did a play called Politics, which I wrote before Savvy magazine, and so these are the people involved. Kunal Rayal acted, Rajesh acted, and I directed.
That's you?
Yeah, that's me in the middle with the big belt. Had the belt for years.
I would not have guessed it. Even though I've seen photos of you.
22, 23, man. Rajesh is a couple of years older than me. And Kunal, you can tell from the face.
He's always been older.
Kunal is 7.5 years older. But the sad part is, before, everybody would make jokes like, there's uncle coming and all at the bar.
Yeah.
But by the time I reached 35, they actually started saying things like, you guys are in class together. And I heard that for the first time. It was like that. And then I do this in my stand-up, which is really poignant and painful. The first time at the Oval, about 10 years ago, when the kid is playing, some kids are playing and the ball comes in my feet and he goes, Uncle, ball dena. Fuck Akash, I nearly threw the ball on his head. Uncle bola, bang chot. Kaun sa angle se uncle? Look at me, evergreen.
So it fucks with you, aging really fucks with you.
I was, no, then I'm saying now.
But now what?
The problem with me is that I was always the youngest. I was the youngest in the play, I was the youngest in MTV, I was the youngest. Everything was young. It was like, oh, the young kid, the kid who is the kid who thinks like likes the 60s, his songs are from the 50s, his philosophy is from the 20s. So I was always that. And suddenly, it's like what Sachin, of course, Sachin is a great man, I'm just a normal person, but Sachin went from being 16 to the Paji ko 2 run nahi kar sakta hai, don't take 2, beta, Paji ka single de do, all that shit. So suddenly I was stuck with, age suddenly happens, right? That's the biggest problem. You're not prepared. Yeah, just overnight, he called me uncle. And my life changed. No one ever, the day they start, aging you, but there's no malice. When the outsider calls you something, that's the true test.
That's the truth.
When somebody tells you, boss, you're 40, he's not trying to put you down. That's his evaluation. So you got to accept that's the truth.
Yeah.
If a friend ever tells you anything, friends hate you. Or never take what friends say. I think friends are truths. So I don't bother. Friends say, oh, you put on weight. Everybody knows I don't want to lose weight because I then feel skinny. So they'll always tease me and say, you're looking thin to get under my skin.
Yeah.
But so I don't value it. But if somebody says anything outside, then I get very upset and scared. So when uncle happened, I felt very bad. It was very painful for me. I was thinking of strangling that kid. He was a small 7-8-year-old boy. I was like, strangle him. Will it go away, this pain? How long will it take for the pain to go away? Yeah, until he stops saying uncle. But then you get used to it. What can you do? Now they'll call me auntie. That's my biggest worry. That's coming soon.
At this point, you still feel like you want to do more live stuff? That's what's interesting to
I
me also,
want to do
no?
more life stuff.
With your generation, no? It's like you could have gone on tour. Could you have gone on tour? That's like, maybe I'm saying.
No,
come
but
to
see,
the wrong place.
you guys have a established process. We didn't have a process. We already had the work. Whatever work was there, we went for it.
Yeah.
So live performance has no money involved for
But
us.
that's my point, right? Like, wo idea jo hai.
If I was younger-
I'm gonna book it and I'm gonna go and I'm
No,
gonna.
that's being an entrepreneur. That's a different thinking altogether. I'm saying, see, we would make money in radio, television, corporate events,
Yeah.
proscenium shows here and there, for whatever time you want to. And television has to happen. Without television, nothing else happens.
Yeah.
So some form of television. And then, of course, this internet and all has started and all that shit. So I think we didn't have this generation that followed is luckier with the process. There's some process to follow. They say, okay, Akash's career, let's see how he did it, let's follow him.
Yeah.
You can't follow my career. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Got into MTV, then something happened, and something, it's all accidental, really. But in your case, there's a lot of thinking, and so you've left a thing where the next generation will be even better in terms of formality. This is how they'll do it.
Right.
Akash did this, we'll also do this, but now we'll do that because that's where Akash perhaps did something we shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
So, it's like that. And live tour will be very important because to make a name for yourself with live audience. But boss, with COVID, what live tour?
अभी तो गया. अभी तो गया.
Private shows. Mrs. Sharma, coming soon.
The whole COVID has made me move towards more content-driven stuff.
You have no choice. But let's say it's a temporary phase because as a comedian you need to interact. As you know, playing the room is playing the room.
Yeah.
It's much more fun. You
Yeah.
feel happy and all your inventive stuff comes out. So if you're an artist of any kind, that's where you show it.
But it's also like how, I think beyond a point, people don't realize that that's how we process life.
Yeah.
Like, we process it through the work we do. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like when you're doing The Week That Wasn't, it's your way of processing the absurdity of the world around you. Like,
Correct.
It's a crazy place.
It is therapeutic in a way.
Yeah.
Since nobody watches it, at least we have that. So you come back thinking, session for you. Sukoon. Feeling.
Yeah, this has to get out, right? Like, I can do an open mic even if it's 3 people in the room. I don't mind.
Yeah. But that open mic is good. I still like the fact whether it's corporate event or proscenium event that you have some touch with the people. Otherwise, that's the only way to know whether you're still, having fun and if people like you and whether you should go on.
Yeah.
You can't just stay in one room. But the problem is you have to pay bills. That's the only thing.
How old are your kids?
Very old. My son is 17 and he starts with Goldman Sachs tomorrow. No, but he wants to be a startup. He wants to defer his for 1 year and all that with all this crap that's happening. And I just think he's just, I don't know. When I was 70, I didn't want to do any work, so I can't even fault him. But let's see. This whole COVID again, now we don't know about admissions and also all this shit has happened. Daughter is 13. Still got a little time.
You still have a lot of time before they're going to be out and about with their own stuff in life. Like another 5
I haven't left home, I'm 49. I'm still there.
Doesn't that mess with you though?
See, I could have gone in my 20s when I started with MTV and I started making money and all that. There was a time when I thought about it for a little while. But I'll tell you one thing, Akash, and again, you'll understand because I think you're similar. My sister went off when I was 15 or something. So I had a 4-bedroom house in Malba Hill alone with 2 parents. Well, most people have 2 parents. Parents, myself, and 1 staff member and a dog.
Yeah.
So from Mumbai standards, that's a mansion.
That's a mansion.
Huh? So I could literally pee in one bathroom, bathe in another bathroom.
Yeah.
And my parents were damn cool, so I could use their bathrooms, their rooms, their cupboards, everything.
Yeah.
There was no issue. So that all changed once you have a wife, which nobody prepares you for that. Then the dynamics of the war of succession is different. People don't understand that there are territorial powers and line of control and border disputes and visa granting, not granting, and Mexican standoffs and all this. So, but I didn't know about that. But now when I look back, that was the best time of my life in the sense that if you are lucky enough to be a young South Bombay boy, reasonably okay money-wise, with a reasonable career and a house to yourself, everything is done for you. I don't have to iron a cloth. I don't have to, everything is done. Your underwear comes fresh.
Yeah.
Dikra, or Sujoich, it's all done.
That's the thing. All of these are arguments my parents give me for continuing to stay at home.
So you got to think about it, but then the wife doesn't respect you enough because you've never done anything on your own. You're another Indian ladla. And you can't go at 49 because now you can't leave them, they're old and ailing. So you're fucked.
How old are they? In their 80s? 90s?
My dad is in not good condition at all. He's 81 and my mom is 78.
My parents are both now just touching 60. So my logic is I have 5 years
Yeah.
of living
Still-
alone. And my brother is abroad, so I have to
No,
come
but
back in a few years.
So now you go now or you don't go?
Yeah.
There's no
No, you
option.
go now, then
So you won't be
come
able to,
back.
you'll get guilted, you just won't go after that.
Yeah,
Because then you know you can't go.
yeah,
Because then they depend on you in other ways,
yeah.
It's not just them missing their son.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Absolutely.
Best is if you can stay close by, honestly, because then you'll be able to manage.
How far?
You have dinner. Nee, matlab, you can go in 5-10 minutes of a car drive to your parents' home every day. You're good to go, no? You check on them once a day and then
I can't afford rent where they live.
there you.
I'm like,
Girgaon. Walkeshwar, Nana Chowk. And where do you want to go?
Bandra side.
No, that's too far. Once you go there, then you might as well be in Hyderabad because it's going to be a headache to come back.
You think so?
Where are you going to go on a daily basis? It's all balls, man.
Can't go on a daily basis.
Then what's the
without
point? Then you might as well live in Delhi and come once a month, not for 2 days.
No, because I don't want to live in Delhi. I want to live in Bombay.
See, if they're fit and all that, touch wood, my suggestion is go now.
Yeah.
Huh? Then when you have to come back, brother not being there, no, you have to come.
You have to.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
But go now.
I've made peace with that idea also. That also took me a while to make peace with. Like I kind of almost felt abandoned by my brother. I was like, yeah, tu nikal gaya. And now I'm gonna be stuck here. But then I felt like, yeah.
This is for the siblings who have left us and gone to America. All of us have them.
Yeah.
You've left us with all this. Huh? You keep asking, make sure they're okay and all that. They're guilted from there, they'll advise you. Fucking come now. Come and take your mom for a walk.
Man, the worst is when NRI siblings go and
Really?
give me advice on like just.
What is this? Is this Indian thing or worldwide thing?
It's
That
a worldwide
everyone
thing.
wants to help you, but they can't do anything.
Yeah.
So what's the point of helping?
So they give you advice. And
But-
especially when you're in a Dude, this happens in my family a lot, right? Where the minute I tell them I'm doing something, they say, how much money are you making from it? That's the first question. No other questions they ask, nothing before, nothing after. It's
I wish
just.
I was born to this family. It's a lovely
Really?
philosophy. Yes.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. You must be a capitalist till you die. You must always think like that. You must think like that when you go. My father, beautiful man. I remember we were in lockup for the first time after drinking. When we came back home, I told him this happened and all that, and I said it cost 900 rupees the bail, and so
Drink and drive.
drinking and driving, a fight and something happened. 3 of us were put in for some time. I was early. I was in MTV, but so I was a little careful. So he came back and he looked at me and said, 900 rupees. Receipt, Malyu? I said, Dad, receipt? Nothing. Get out. And he shut the door. He was most angry he couldn't file it in tax. Bail. 900 bucks was a lot. I'm looking, this is 1999
Yeah,
or
it's a lot
something.
of money.
So it was let's say it's like 5,000 rupees or something now.
Yeah.
So it was a decent amount. You don't just throw it away. So his lesson was, he never asked why I was in jail. He only wanted to know why I didn't get the receipt. No, 900 bucks. So that's the capitalism that I respect. That you're always thinking about it from that fiscal point of view and not just from a moral point of view. Fiscal trumps moral. Hence, COVID is crap for me. People go to work and earn money and survive and worry not about COVID. That's secondary. First, worry about your plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, what a great point to wrap this podcast on
Yes.
a point of capitalism, guys.
Yes.
This is also a great way to motivate people.
As
to
Donald
get
Trump
us-
told me in his book, watch me on Twitter.
I'm so glad we did this finally in person. This is so much better than having done it in any other way.
And you come to my studio,
Yeah,
which is this.
which is great.
It's a benchmark in South Mumbai.
I've been trying to convince people to go to their house and record for a while.
Baba, I'm fighting I feel like one of these revolutionaries fighting for a separate country or something. Because there's very few of us who are thinking in this positive way. Everyone is just scared. The people in the buildings, and I don't know what else to do with them now. They're all nice people, Akash. They're not like that bad human beings.
Yeah.
But they've just lost the will to fight.
Yeah.
Get on with it, man. Stop crying. If you get it, you get it. We'll deal with it. You spend 5 days in your house, 1
that's
week,
what
2
my
weeks,
mother
whatever.
also says.
Just deal.
Yeah.
This, your mother is our leader. You need people like that. Sadly, very few.
But terrifying also,
Huh?
Terrifying for the families. That's the.
It may be, but after 5-6 months, you've got to think about it and say, boss, we have to.
One of the reasons why I really want to push this moving out plan, even though there's a pandemic, is because there's a pandemic. Like the last thing I want is my Rakhat Khon bench.
Fair enough, I get it. But let's look at a cricketing analogy. Okay, if Steve was batting, Barbados Ambrose is really angry and they're still bouncing the old Barbados wicket.
Yeah.
Right? And they're peppering him. What does he do? He makes 200 runs,
Yeah.
the big partnership with Mark Waugh,
Yeah.
and the West Indies hegemony ends 1995
Yeah.
with that one innings. What do you do? He just took it on the body.
Yeah.
He couldn't deal with it. He doesn't play the hook properly. He doesn't even play the cut properly on
Yeah.
really bouncing
Yeah,
wickets.
yeah, yeah.
So what happened? He just wore it until they couldn't bowl short anymore.
Yeah.
And then, he just, the second half of it. Yeah.
New Zealand last year.
Exactly.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
fucking took it.
Just take it. So I'm saying we're getting beaten. Take the beating now. and just push on. That fear mongering now is already too deep. We can't help them.
Yeah.
All normal people, all good people, but behaving scared.
And outside तो सब चल ही रहा है.
हाँ.
When you leave, you realize.
Correct. You're sitting across the table. We are doing this conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, why the hell do we have to go on Zoom and then I have to listen and Wi-Fi is gone and what?
Yeah.
Half the thing is that. Today I could speak at my normal pace. and you also.
I'm so glad though, right? Like
Oh.
there was no, we could cut each other off nicely
Correct,
and all.
correct,
Like
correct.
that's what I want out
So
of this.
Steve Waugh, take
Steve
the
Waugh.
beating.
Take the beating. Take the beating. Thank you so much, man. It has been a pleasure.